So it's award season, that famous time of year where we roll out the red carpets and celebrities are handed awards for their work in respective TV shows and movies, and they tell us how to better our lives and what woke thing we should do next, even though they have no idea what a regular life is like. And feminists are outraged all over the internet because we just got our Oscar nominations, and Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig were not nominated in their respective categories for the work they did on Barbie. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into this video, big shout out to those of you who've become patrons to my Patreon. You really keep the work that I do here on this channel going, and I can't thank you enough, so shout out to you guys. Now, you'll notice a change of scenery. I'm not in the studio. I'm in Sydney, Australia. I've been hanging out with my boyfriend's family, petting kangaroos and wallabies and feeding goats. It's been a very, very fun time so far, but we're here to get down to business. We're talking about Barbie and the Oscars. Now, as I said before, Oscar nominations have been rolled out, and Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig did not make the cut. Greta Gerwig directed Barbie, Margot Robbie was the lead actress and executive producer on the film, and I think many were expecting that they were going to be nominated for the category of Best Director and Best Actress. Didn't pan out. Now, this has led to a ton of feminist outrage all over the internet, and we're going to get to that. But first, The Hollywood Reporter put out an article saying, the optics of excluding Barbie's Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie from the directing and lead actress categories, the women most responsible for the critically acclaimed film that became the biggest blockbuster of 2023, are not good. So we all get the logic here. Barbie was a super successful movie that was essentially modern day feminism 101. Men run the world, everything is full of patriarchy, and it is so hard to be a woman. And we get that famous speech from America Ferrera at the end of the film where she details all the different things that women can and cannot do, and just how much of a struggle our life really is. Now, given that this entire film was about complaining about being a woman, you would imagine that they would roll out the red carpet for those like Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig, the two famous women most associated with the film. At least that's what the feminists expected after watching Barbie. I really think the message that they got from this movie was, boo-hoo, it sucks to be a woman, therefore we must win everything from this point on. Now, I will say Barbie was a super successful movie. Greta Gerwig with this film became the first solo female director to gross $1 billion at the box office. And of course, Margot Robbie is a super talented actress, and that really did come through in Barbie. And you guys know that I watched Barbie. I didn't particularly love the message of the film whatsoever, but I thought Margot Robbie was a great lead actress in this role. Now, do I think that she deserves an Oscar for that or an Oscar nomination for that? Not personally, but many feminists on the internet can't help but express their outrage when it comes to this lack of nomination. Brie on X put out this tweet with a photo of Margot Robbie and then lyrics from Taylor Swift's The Man saying, "I'm so sick of running as fast as I can, wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man." And I'm not quite sure how that at all makes sense, given that Margot Robbie was left out of lead actress and is now being beat out of the Oscar by other women. So how would her being a man make that any easier? If I have to use leftist logic, maybe if Margot Robbie was born a biological man who now identifies as female, she would have made it into the category. But I digress. Adam on X put a spin on America Ferrera's very iconic monologue at the end of the film saying, "You have to be a leading lady, but you can't be nominated for Best Actress. You have to be a strong female director, but you can't be nominated for Best Director. You have to have a wildly popular dance song, but you can't be nominated for Best Original Song." Oh my gosh. Don't the tears just flow when you think about the lack of nominations for Barbie? And honestly, I do find this quite hilarious, given that Barbie did rake in quite a few nominations for the Oscars. It's in there for Best Movie, I'm Just Ken is in there for Best Song, America Ferrera's in for Best Supporting Actress, and Ryan Gosling is in for Best Supporting Actor. And I really do have to ask the question, did we all watch Barbie? I saw that film. I can grant that it was fun. I can grant that if you're a feminist, you probably really love the messaging, but Best Film? Really, I was not expecting to see this movie anywhere near the Oscars. But here we are, I guess. Feminist News put out, Ken getting nominated and not Barbie is honestly so fitting for a film about a man discovering the power of patriarchy in the real world. And Ken, aka Ryan Gosling, is receiving quite a bit of back and forth when it comes to these nominations. Somebody said, "I'd like to thank the Academy for reminding us that no matter how much progress we think we make, the real world has always been and remains a Kendom." Shannon Watts tweeted out, "Greta Gerwig made a critically acclaimed, culturally profound feminist movie about Barbie and the patriarchy and made $1 billion at the box office. Oscar nomination goes to Ken." Oh my gosh. Even Hillary Clinton hopped on Twitter to talk about this, saying that Greta and Margot are more than enough. No guys, I cannot make this up. This seems to legitimately be the feminist equivalent to posting the black square online that we saw in 2020. Actually ridiculous. Even Ryan Gosling put out an official statement about the Oscar nominations and his feeling about being nominated when Margot and Greta were not. You can go read the full statement, maybe I'll put it up here and you can pause, but he's essentially saying that there is no Ken without Barbie and there is no Barbie without Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie, and that no recognition would be possible for anyone on the film without their talent, grit, and genius. Which is fine, I get it. You're a male role in a feminist film, you want to come out and support the women, and I'm sure he really does have a great love for Greta and Margot and he appreciates their work. You know what? I guess it's fine. And all of this is being packaged as some sort of patriarchal move that Greta and Margot are strategically being kept out of Oscar nominations, when Margot is losing out to other women and Greta just seems to be losing out to better films. That's really just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and Greta and Margot have had no lack of award ceremonies and celebration when it comes to this film. Not to mention that if you were truly woke and you were looking at the category for Best Actress, you'd be rooting for somebody like Lily Gladstone, who has now become the first Native American actress to ever be nominated in the category. But I guess you're gonna lose some woke points for that. There's no lack of women in that category, and if you truly subscribed yourself to wokeness, you'd be rooting for the most oppressed, which would be Lily Gladstone. And what really sucks is that Lily Gladstone seemingly put on a really spectacular performance in Killers of the Flower Moon, and now she's sort of getting this kitschy response of the first Native American woman. This is such a win for representation, rather than a win for real merit. Sadly, this seems to be a message that is being reinforced by Barbie, because if you're a woman who watched that film, it seems like you took away that women should just win everything and they should be ushered to the top of whatever category they can win an award in. And it's so interesting to watch the Academy be accused of not being woke enough for the lack of nominations for Barbie, when they quite literally have distinct standards for representation and inclusion that must be present in the films in order for them to get nominated in the first place. Now, a film that the Academy is looking at for an Oscar has to achieve at least one of these standards. It must have a lead or significant supporting actor from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group, and they give you an entire list on their site. They have to have at least 30% of the ensemble in a movie has to be from at least two underrepresented groups. Among them is women, a racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ, or people with disabilities. Or you can meet the third standard, which is that the film's main storyline has to be revolving around an underrepresented minority. So I don't think there's any question as to whether or not the Academy is woke enough when it comes to choosing its nominations. Barbie just didn't make the cut for director or lead actress, and that's okay. I stopped watching or being interested in award shows quite a long time ago. I guess I still check them out every now and then, but it's become a lot of just woke garbage where these celebrities win their awards not based on merit, but based on whether or not they're part of an underrepresented group. And when they do, they're brought up on stage to tell us how to lead our lives better, even though they have no idea what our lives look like. Honestly, at this point, I've given up on the Oscars. They've made it abundantly clear that they are more concerned with the skin color and the sex of the person who wins the award rather than their actual talent. So why anybody would care who wins an Oscar at this point is beyond me. But if you are a feminist who is overly concerned about the state of Barbie nominations, trust, the film is gonna be fine. Greta Gerwig still grossed $1 billion in the box office. I think she's gonna be fine. And Margot Robbie is a massively talented executive producer and actress. I think she's gonna be fine as well. You have plenty of other women to root for if that's your thing, and plenty other more oppressed women to root for, considering that you seem to subscribe yourself to woke ideology. And I think that's the thing to focus on here. There will be plenty of other feminist films in the future, plenty of other films that are centering women and talking about how hard it is to be one of us, whether or not that is true or not. You should have no worries when it comes to the film industry supporting your ideology. And when it comes to hearing about the Barbie movie or nominations for women, I have had enough. Guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject matter covered in this video. Drop them in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with me, duke it out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.